our spirits to such a degree, and all the more so when it brings us together in celebration. In other words, it brings us joy. So this is what I particularly wanted to share with you, songs which have brought me joy. This seemed such an interesting and innovative way to celebrate this year's Commonwealth Day. Thank you for listening. I wish you all every possible blessing.
Well, there you go.
Do you know, I love him.
Yeah, I do too, and I love that song as well.
Just the way he delivers that, and wish you every possible blessing. What a man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just adore him. I adore him.
He's very like his late mother there, actually. I wish you every possible blessing. Very like her. Well, as you saw, the show is called The King's Music Room, where he's going to share his top tracks and opens up about his love of music.
Let's talk to our royal correspondent, Cameron Walker. When I first heard about this, I was sceptical that he'd picked this music himself. Watching that, I suspect he probably has.
I think he has, and I understand he will be sharing anecdotes with meeting some of these artists, of course, from across the Commonwealth, from across the decades, when this new show launches on Apple Music on Monday to mark Commonwealth Day. This was recorded in his office, and...
GB News, the People's Channel.
If you want your news to be straight talking...
This is a nightmare for the Conservatives again.
Down to earth.
It's not just Nottingham where this is happening, is it?
And most importantly, honest.
Hard-working, middle-class taxpayers, they'll get their book thrown at them.
Then catch me, Martin Daubney, Monday to Friday, 3 till 6 p.m. on GB News, Britain's news channel.
I'm Christopher Hope. From pop stars to politicians, I'll interview anybody in a pub who's got a political opinion. Join me every Friday on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube or gbnews.com, or wherever you get your podcasts. This is GB News, the People's Channel.
Hello, welcome to Headliners, where we give you the best of tomorrow's newspapers with the best of today's comedians. We're going to bring you some breaking news. President Donald Trump has released approximately 80,000 pages related to the assassination of former President John F. Kennedy. In an effort to make the cases of public interest more accessible to the US people, President Trump signed an executive order releasing all previously withheld details. Let's have a listen. Sorry, most of the records related to Kennedy's assassination have already been released, but back in 2017, Trump released additional documents related to Kennedy's assassination, but there are still thousands of documents that have been fully or partially withheld until today. Donald Trump said it's a lot of stuff and you'll make your own determination. OK, well, let's see to it. It's very exciting,
a lot of stuff. It's 80, you'll make your own determination.
80,000 pages.
Yeah. Well, there's a quote. So this was yesterday. He was talking about the release when it's coming out, and Trump said, "We have a tremendous amount of paper." That's, yeah, I mean, I guess he really has printed them off. That's probably why it took so long.
Oh, that's what it is.
Printers are like.
Well, the thing is, we're not going to know until someone's waded through it all, but surely they wouldn't have released it if there was anything really good there.
But also, you just got to think about how much the printer cartridges cost.
Because it cost a fortune for GB News and everyone. They're printing it out there. Pages and pages.
Use a laser one on
Yeah, that would be rookie season inkjet, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That would be to newsrooms around the world.
So who's most excited, do you think? Oliver Stone? Is he going to...
This is all before my time.
You missed the Jeff...
you probably remember it. Well, you were there, weren't you? You were on the grass.
Before our time.
You were born before 90... What was it, 65 he died?
What are you talking... No, we're talking about Oliver Stone. We grew up when JFK, the film...
Yeah.
Oh, right. For us, he was just a mythical creature from history. We learned about it in school. So I'm not that bothered either way, really. I'd like him to release more, more recent things than that. But anyway.
Do you know who he is?
JFK? Yeah. No, great guy. He was a
Do you know who
great vice president. No, I don't know. Lee Harvey Oswald? Or is it someone else, ladies and gentlemen? In the next hour, we will bring you the news of who killed... Oh, look, brilliant. Look, this is archive footage of the assassination of a president.
The most famous bit of Super 8 footage ever made.
What a
cheery... Most watched piece of film, by the way, ever.
Oh, and it's paused. Has the bullet hit?
They don't want to ruin the ending for you.
It's like what happened next.
Tragedy plus time really is...
Humour.
Maybe a bit more time needed. But this is, I mean, the humour will more be in the way that with all these pieces of, these pieces of paper, they've clearly been printed out. And Trump has promised that nothing will be redacted. But in that way that he talks, he says, I don't think we're redacting anything. I said, don't redact anything. You can't redact. Sort of.
I'm just going to open a random page and just see what it looks like.
Redacting takes the time, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's all written.
Redacting wastes the ink.
It's all written in typewriter. It's all in like typewriter, like old school typewriter.
Oh really?
Yeah. This is amazing.
I mean, this is. I guess what's exciting is, I mean, how gutted do you have to be if this has been your thing for 50 odd years, that you're a JFK conspiracist, the grassy knoll, and then finally this is the dream. This is Christmas, Hanukkah, everything all at once, and then you read the 80,000, and you're like, it's Lee Harvey.
No, because then that will just feed the conspiracy. This is what I think.
Do you think Trump's in on it?
Yeah, this is where it's misjudged, doesn't it? If you're a mental conspiracy theorist, do you not go completely down the rabbit hole again and go, well, they haven't released it all, or they've released some fake news, or doesn't it just leave...
Yeah, but that would involve Trump and the president.
Exactly, maybe he is.
Yeah. You're right. There's never been a conspiracy theorist who's had a moment of going like,
oh, I'm wrong.
I'd probably just move on.
Yeah, they're done now. It's never happened.
Yeah. It's over for me. Flat Earth.
But it looks quite cool. This, like, it's all the documents are marked top secret.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's not true anymore, is it?
Not
anymore, no, I can read it. This is amazing.
What's the first bit of information?
Well, I just opened a random page.
Start it all out.
I've opened a completely random page. This is the data report, 1st of February, 1956. So this is from prior to his death, and it's just like...
It goes way
back. From Guatemalan exile activities. I mean,
well, this is the problem. These will be all the files linked to JFK.
What they should have done is a one-pager. They should have gone, look, that's what I'd like to have seen. A little one-pager at the top. This is who did it.
Through Grok.
Sorry, lads.
I want to see some GCSE pass notes.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah.
They just get AI to read it for you and tell us, have a read of all of these documents, churn it through and tell us who killed JFK.
That would be... That's probably what is exactly going on right now.
What do you think his nephew's doing? Because he's still in the current health... health, isn't he?
Yes.
So maybe that's... And then
he's doing chin-ups, right?
Yes,
he's probably just doing chin-ups, injecting himself with more of those...
Well, I guess we'll find out if anybody... during the show, if anybody does solve the full mystery of JFK, if there is even a mystery.
There is no mystery.
It was all about the bullet. It was all about... The bullet. He went at a 45-degree angle and came out the...
What's your prediction, though, genuinely?
I think, I just think it was him.
It was obviously Lee Harvey Oswald.
How do you get around all the magic bullet theory stuff, though? 2 shooters would make more sense.
Oh, my God, I didn't think... Look at that. Stephen Allen coming out as a JFK...
Back into the left.
Theorist. All is revealed. All right, well, let's look at some front pages about effects of the world that are going to impact us right now. Let's start with the Daily Express. Ukraine must have...
a massive hay fever attack.
No way. It must have that.
It's going well tonight. Darren's got allergies.
And lasting peace. Woo! Time.
Why do you sneeze 3 octaves higher than your speaking voice?
I'm sorry about that. That was a very serious subject.
Oh, goodness me. This is where we're starting?
Oh, man, it's very dusty in this studio. Putin keeps ceasefire hopes on a knife edge. The Mirror worried sick. That was the one. That's why I should have sneezed.
Yeah.
I've missed.
If you could burp in the next one.
Well, look here. Let's go to the Daily Express. First of all, which has maybe the most heavy lifting word of the day, which is partial ceasefire here.
Yes. So this is the news that Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin have got on the phone, which is great. And Putin had the agreement was that Putin would agree to pause strikes on energy targets for 30 days. That was all really good until 2 hours later he did bomb an energy target. So this is the downside of newspapers. This is no longer relevant. There is no just and lasting peace. Putin, that ceasefire lasted 2 hours.
Yeah, but also the fact is they wanted a proper ceasefire. That's what Ukraine has agreed to.
Yes.
And Putin said, all right, we'll... Yeah,
just not the energy stuff.
We won't do anything that we're not really kind of doing.
Yeah.
We won't blow up your electric stuff.
And then they did that anyway.
We'll kill civilians and children and women, but we're not. Don't worry, we won't blow up a power station or whatever, which we will hope to take over ourselves.
But as it turns out, 2 hours later, and there were other facts in this as well, like when the call was meant to take place, Putin wasn't.
He was on stage talking to some oligarchs. Which, to be fair, if I had a choice of talking to Trump or a bunch of oligarchs, I'd choose the oligarchs.
But do you not think this is showing Trump to be weak? Like he's deliberately on stage so that people can clock the time and go like, oh, he's making Trump wait. That's a power play.
No, but the difference is that he was wearing a suit. And that's all Trump cares about.
That's true. Yeah. He wouldn't talk to me. You two would be very good for negotiations. I, however...
Only in the top half on this show.
Both of you, actually. If you stand up, we're all screwed.
On the top.
So this is... obviously, this is going to be continuing, but, Trump, I guess, can sort of claim some level of... Although saying that, like you said, he's already just bombed something else.
Say no energy plant was bombed for 2 hours. I reckon there have been periods of 2 hours previously in this conflict when no energy has been bombed. So I feel like nothing's changed.
The thing is also, Trump, there's not really much he can do apart from sending in troops himself or massively arming Ukraine.
Which he's not going to do.
There's nothing that else that's going to really matter.
Because the internet's going to be like, well, we're going to get the hate we normally do for being like Zelensky stooges. It is true to say people weren't talking about ceasefires and deals before Trump started doing whatever he's doing. Just to bring that back, I don't think what he's doing makes him look strong. I think it makes him look weak, but at least...
But it's not yet working, so let's... wait and see.
Yeah, fine. All right, well, look, let's move on to the Times then.
Well, they've got Putin keeps ceasefire hopes on knife edge. We just covered that. Benefit trap has weakened... has wrecked a terrible cost, says Starmer. And then he sneezed. It's really weird. No one knows why, but the spiralling cost of sickness and disability benefits having a devastating impact on finances. But this is what they've been sorting. This is what Liz Kendall's been looking at, changing the way that you can apply for it, not, importantly, and maybe we come on to this later, reducing the actual amount that they're getting paid. So it wasn't a case of freezing it while inflation makes it go higher, so it's a cut. But it will be harder to be assessed for it.
Which is just what people with disabilities need, obviously. As I keep saying, if you're severely disabled and can't use the toilet on your own or whatever, what you need is it to be more difficult to get the help.
I think we're talking more about mental health. So
it's all of it. It's all other things too.
1,000 people a day.
It's still a handwritten form they're filling out here. I mean, some people have disabilities and they can't write.
In person, I don't think it's that. Maybe I'm being heartless, but it doesn't seem that arduous to be assessed for something. It's more regularly than once, and that's it. So
if at all, no, but this isn't. It's a lot of people. It's not even being assessed once, and certainly when it comes to things like mental health and saying, "Oh, I feel depressed," and you do see some very egregious examples of misuse of this. So, of course, to freeze the PIP fund, that makes sense because the PIP fund, the people who truly need it, need that money to go up with inflation, and that's absolutely fair enough. But there are people who, unfortunately, are misusing the system, and that is what needs to be shut down.
And the nature of work's changed as well. Like, firstly, there's the catch that you were in, that you couldn't even apply for work without fear of losing that benefit, and therefore you'd be on a different system. What a ridiculous system. People should always be incentivised to seek work. So people who wanted to work couldn't for fear of the stupid system that they're now fixing. But also the nature of work's changed. Like, if you... There are people who, I mean, I don't want to be harsh, but there are people who are getting the PIP payment for bedwetting, which they're setting us up for jokes. But if you can work from home...
Then it doesn't matter, does it?
You can work
You can work,
just work while wetting the bed.
I don't know where you came up with that.
I don't know where you came up with it.
It's in one of the stories.
It is in one of the stories.
I did not read anything about
It's not just bedwetting, though. I feel like it's bedwetting as a...
I'm saying you can work from home if you wet the bed. You can't go to an office unless they've got like...
Depends on the office.
Do you have any other examples apart from the bedwetting that you...
Acne is one that's listed in the story,
yes. OK, that's a good one.
And Nikki had acne.
And if you have acne, then you must stay at home.
Yeah, that, to be fair, is a good policy. I'd be up for that. I'd vote for that.
Let's go on to the Mirror then. It's pretty much the same story, but they're pulling heartstrings, rightly so.
The Mirror is essentially the same story, but I'm going to just direct to something that's worth mentioning, that the last of the few, the Battle of Britain pilots, died yesterday. I know it's been extensively covered by GBNews. Paddy Hemingway, 105 years old, which is extraordinary. Extraordinary.
Battle of Britain, it's the kind of it's stuff of legend now. I mean, literally
is the stuff. Yeah, it's I presume that the true reports of what happened there will be released by Trump and the government in due course.
You don't think that he was involved?
I don't know. He knew how to fly a plane and had a gun.
Controversial. All right, let's have a look at some more front pages. We have the Daily Telegraph. The Putin rejects Trump's ceasefire. Then we have the Star, which is Trumpies taking liberty. God, Trump just gets so much airtime, doesn't he?
Constantly.
It's ridiculous.
That is his main thing.
Ridiculous amount of airtime. Right, well, look, let's go to this Trump one. So we've got that story. There's a story here about GCSE exams to be scaled back. That's you, Steve.
Yep. So this is a plan to overhaul the way that the education system's working. And look, I think this is talking about state education. I'm sitting next to two people who have private education. You must look down. I'm
state educated.
No,
I was. Yeah.
Yourself.
No, for 5 minutes. I didn't like it. I lasted 6 weeks. But I can say, when I stand for Parliament, I can be, hi, I'm Archie Manners, state educated.
State educated.
Really? Yeah. For 6 weeks.
I thought Archie Manners was your stage name.
6 weeks. No, that's my real name.
Wow.
Yeah, I was born with it.
What did your ancestors do? Just shook hands.
We had interests all around the world. Is all I'll say. I think one of my ancestors genuinely taxed potatoes to Ireland during the potato famine.
Okay.
Taxed them.
So they had a pretty rum time, but I had a lovely education, so glad. Anyway, let's move on.
But it's the state education that's changing, and they're right that there are too many GCSEs. You see people being spread too thinly.
Yeah.
And I think if you want a good education in the state sector, what you need to realise, look, in some cases you need to be raising people's chances to improve their life. That's what this is about. And so doing some GCSEs well, I think makes sense. This is what they're planning on doing. You just want to stick to the basics. Do your science, your maths, your English, and then the life skills need to be taught as well, because some of us can't afford accountants, so you need to teach that stuff at school as well.
But yeah, well, I don't understand. I find it much more interesting or useful to learn how to do a tax return, for example, at GCSE,
this kind of
than I would. I mean, how many times have I needed to know the ins and outs of photosynthesis in adult life?
To know
Not
what a
once.
tax return is, to understand even the basic fundamentals of life here. Budgeting, interview skills, public speaking.
So I think this is written by Professor Becky Francis, who, as far as I can tell, is a teacher who teaches teaching. I think she's wrong. I think they need to actually think about life skills more. Cookery would be useful. I can't cook anything. Far more useful. That should be. They should teach that sort of stuff. Cookery, accountancy, how to tie a bow tie, all the essentials.
If you can't cook anything other than using a microwave, you get a couple of points in the PIP assessment. So
OK, that's brilliant. I'm at quids in then.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. My son is doing his GCSEs this summer, and it's a huge amount of work. I mean, I don't think I've ever worked as hard on anything else than I did for my GCSEs.
Did you do GCSEs? I thought you'd done
3 A's,
A-levels.
5 B's and 2 C's, so adding all that together, I don't know how many.
No, how many does he do? But 3
A's. He's doing about 10-ish.
But your point is true, because they're saying also about the EBAC subjects, it's leaving less time for non-assessed subjects like PE and sex ed. I would like to see sex ed starting to be assessed. I think that'd be a lot more fun.
I'm just going to apologise for a word. Supposedly we said a naughty word earlier.
Did I?
That
would have been me. That would have been me, I'm sure. Sorry for any naughty words, boys and girls.
They're considered to be.
The thing is, I'm apologising, but I can't say what the word is because that would be to repeat it.
Right.
Yes. It's a P, and it ended S.
Potatoes. That definitely
that was very uncouth. There's another story here. Badenoch. Farage is a reality TV star. He's not fit to run your life. Now, you're friends with him, Archie.
I know Mr. Farage, yes.
Is he like a TV star? I've met him a few times.
He is both a TV star and fit to run your life.
Oh, really?
Is he not? I mean, one is not necessarily... They're not mutually exclusive, are they? Donald Trump is a TV star. Boris Johnson was a TV star. I'm selling it here.
Maybe Kemi Badenoch, this is maybe a terrible criticism, really.
Maybe she should be a TV star. Maybe we should put Kemi on, I mean, I don't know, Strictly Come Dancing. No, but that'd be like, you know, more people would find out who she was, put her in the jungle. There's a few options.
Yeah. Vince Cable did the celebrity Strictly Come Dancing. It really helped his career.
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually think the best reality TV show to see if someone is worthy of running the country would be MasterChef. See them under pressure, see them getting the ingredients.
See how they deal with Greg Wallace. As well.
Exactly.
Yeah. That would be a special challenge.
There's a few politicians who are a bit like that. All right, cool. Well, and finally we've got the Star, which is the usual... well, actually, it's kind of an interesting story that came out yesterday. They're talking about Trump. France wants... the Statue of Liberty back.
Yeah, Trump is taking a liberty. The French, or someone in France, wants the thing back. I mean, I think that America probably want to get rid of it because it's got that famous plaque on it that says, you know, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses. And it doesn't look like they want them anymore. So maybe they want to get rid of the big plaque that invites people to just go over there and huddle.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I mean, did you see the press officer, the White House press officer? Someone said, oh, what about this... Get France wanting their statue back, and she was like, well, if it wasn't for us, they'd be speaking German.
Which, of course, totally misunderstands history. Without being boring about it, totally misunderstands history. Go a little bit further back. It was a French colony that helped beat us.
Yeah,
when
if it weren't for the
watch
French,
Hamilton
speaking English.
Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't actually make any sense.
Exactly. And wait a minute, just breaking news. We're finding out who's killed JFK. No, sorry.
Oh, you tease.
You have to come back after the break.
Join us after the break to find out
who killed JFK. Maybe. We'll see if it comes in. See you in 2 minutes.
Do that tease though, it's great.
Yeah.
And
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
Because
the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
The royal family is an enduring symbol of tradition, unity and pride for Britain. At GB News, we celebrate what makes this country great. In our new royal newsletter series, you can join me, Cameron Walker, for Inside the Palace, an exclusive look every week that takes you beyond the gates and brings you the very latest from those at the heart of the monarchy. Never miss a royal moment again. Sign up now. Go to gbnews.com/royal newsletter and get the latest straight to your inbox.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Camilla Tominey, for a frank and honest discussion with those in power that cuts through the spin and gets to the heart of the issues shaping our nation.
You haven't confirmed that you want to stand as leader, but you haven't ruled it out either.
This report basically says that he's not fit to stand trial. Is he indecisive? Incompetent? I deliver the dose of reality Westminster needs. That's the Camilla Tominey Show at 9:30 every Sunday on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
Welcome back to Headliners, Wednesday's Telegraph. Next, Steve, and I bet those cuts to winter fuel payments are looking like the glory days now.
Yeah, Britain shaves £40 million off benefits bill by sending pensioners to prison. Not just for being old. They've done some crimes, like tweeting about stuff. But we keep hearing people say, like, you know, the government needs to cut the welfare bill. They found a way. Because the rules are, if you're a pensioner and you get locked up, you lose your pension for those years. So it's 3,562 people over 66 are banged up. And that's
drugs, right?
It's mainly crack.
Well, and
ketamine. It's ketamine.
Vitamin snatching, glucosamine for the joints, I think, as well. But £41 million saved, so that's like, you know, 11,500 per person. But it costs £51,000 a year to keep them in prison. So actually,
so close.
It's not that they're saving 41; they're spending £142 million. So it's not really there. Campaigners want it brought back because they say it's an additional punishment. And again, I don't agree, because if you're of working age and you get banged up, you're deprived of furthering your career.
But you're not deprived of your pension. So when Wayne Couzens went away, there was a whole separate cause for stripping him of his police pension. So you're still. So it's only.
You're stripped.
This is state pension. This is state pension. Yeah, but not your private pension.
Released. No.
Yeah.
There's no reason why. But they don't empty your bank account either.
No, but don't you earn your state pension over time anyway by paying into it?
You're separating it. Well, no. Sadly, there's no pot to pay into.
No, there's not,
what you pay now just goes to other people who are alive, you know, what's the word, at the same time. But anyway, so in fact, I think if you work... I don't think it's right to give pensioners their pension whilst other people working can't work, because it would oddly incentivise getting yourself banged up. You don't have the costs of, you know, renting a flat or whatever, and you get your...
Well, that's it. You're costing the state. So really, that money is... You're getting that money to keep you alive.
And prisons have heating. So in many ways, you're way better off.
It'll be a crime spree of all these.
They're going to be absolutely crazy out there now, just to keep warm this winter.
Making a getaway with
keep warm this winter. Steal a steak. That'd be my advice.
There is a joke somewhere about triple lock, but I just couldn't. I'm sorry. I know I should have done the extra.
You really should have.
I just saw triple lock and I was like, "There's a joke
somewhere,"
and then I was just like. It'll occur to me on the day. You know what? It just didn't occur to me. I'm sorry, but trust me that there was.
Trained professionals, though.
Yeah. OK. So, Telegraph against Steve, where Hungary shuts down a fun family day out.
Hungary bans pride events and plans to use facial recognition to target attenders. Amnesty International are upset about this. Hungary, they've used child protection legislation, which bars any depiction or promotion of homosexuality to minors under the age of 18, which also effectively bans camp. If you're saying that you can't have someone under the age of 18 seeing something that is synonymous.
Camp is in, like, scout camp, or are you suggesting?
Well, I mean, yes, but yes is what I'm saying. So, yeah, I mean, why are they linking together child safety things and the LGBTQ?
Well, this is it, because they're saying that it somehow links to homosexuality, the depiction or the promotion of homosexuality to minors, like somehow that's going to make somebody watching or seeing two guys kissing is going to suddenly go, "Oh, I hadn't thought about that," which is obviously ridiculous.
Yeah.
But there's a sort of I was going to say kink in the. There's the thing that's slightly trickier here is the terminology, because throughout the article they keep on flipping between LGB and then adding the TQ plus element to it.
Yeah.
And of course, then we're conflating a whole bunch of different stuff, because then if it depends on what sort of pride is or represents nowadays.
Yeah, surely no one's ever got in trouble for conflating those two groups and talking about.
No, you would think that they would.
I can't think of anyone doing that.
I would think that if you were going to talk about it, I think you need to be very, very clear about exactly what you're talking about.
And you'd want to have the whole clip put out,
because you wouldn't want anything to be taken out of context by bad faith
actors. Yeah. Who are doing things just yeah, no, absolutely. I do like the phrase "full frontal attack," though. That seems to me a very kind of.
Well, this is it.
Amnesty International with a sense of humour. There.
Well, the full frontal attack, and they go on the LGBTI, and then they very deliberately leave out the Q+, because that seems to be what a lot of people do have, or some people do have problems with, because they're undefinable terms.
Yeah.
And there is this idea that they are, some parts of the Q+ are promoting ideologies or that are not necessarily appropriate for children nowadays. The pride of my youth is different to the pride of today, in terms of the pride of today having things like furries involved and various fetishes.
Yeah, but I think these guys are just thinking, hang on, it'd be quite nice just to go and wave a rainbow flag around a bit and celebrate being gay, which seems to me pretty reasonable.
Absolutely.
Even if they're not going to be subject to a full
government's banning people congregating, which is effectively what this is.
And that's the other element that's a slightly tricky.
It's a protest. It's trapped down a protest. Yep.
Yeah, but no, I mean, this is part of the Hungarian sort of assault on gay rights over the years, and there's obviously a massive step backwards. I just think it's a shame that by tagging this TQ plus stuff onto it, it makes their case somewhat easier, and that what they are doing is obviously wrong.
Yeah. Look at us putting the GB into LGB. Is that what it is?
Is that the new?
Is that what they stand for?
Is that the new motto?
Britain's news channel. Putting the GB.
Anyway, yeah, it's. Yeah, this is obviously it's complicated stuff, but there is nothing complicated about allowing gay people to be proud and go out there and.
It's also one of the best nights of the year. I mean, it's great fun.
Yeah.
It's just an excuse to get. I'm not going to use that word again.
Yeah.
Drunk, very drunk.
Ah, that was.
You see, that's. I'm learning, producers.
Yeah, good.
Thank you.
Right, let's go on to the Daily Mail. Archie, it's brave to see someone embracing their true ethnic identity.
Right. This is going to be really hard for me. I'm going to try and read this with a straight face.
OK.
But this is genuinely one of the craziest headlines I think anyone has ever written. Prepare yourself, boys and girls. The Daily Mail. White glamour model Martina Big, 36, who, quote, identifies as black, quote, after having tanning... I can't do it. Who identifies as black, quote, after having tanning injections, and this is the bit, this is the kicker at the end of it, announces plan to move to Africa. Yeah. There's so much to unpack here. This is a woman called Martina Big, who is well-named.
That's her birth name.
That is her birth name, but also the description of her chest. She claims to have the largest chest...
She had no choice, really.
No, she had a choice, but she's
Nominative determinism.
Well, it is literally, but she's spent quite a lot of money getting the largest breasts in Europe. She now, however, despite having her 32T breasts, has been injecting herself with some kind of pigment or colouring system to turn her from white to black.
Let's have a look. Let's have a.
Oh, do we have a?
So this is before.
This is before, and then it's quite a shocking shift here. It's sort of Michael Jackson backwards.
Okay, and then let's see after.
Yeah,
okay.
so it looks.
I mean, that's not offensive at all.
It looks like. It
well,
really
it's a
is.
Little Britain sketch.
It literally looks like a Little Britain sketch. I was about to say, it literally is Williams, isn't it? Yeah. In Little Britain. So that is anyway. Martina Big she's been to Kenya to go and meet the Masai Mara, which I've done. They're a wonderful.
Yeah, back to her roots.
Back to who she. They've christened her. They've given her a baptism, and so she's now believing that she is Kenyan, and she's going over to Kenya. So what is weird about this is it's like obviously the.
Tell us what's weird about it.
What is weird about it? There's obviously the initial thought of like that's really inappropriate. This is blackfacing, but not even in a temporary way. Yeah. But then hang on. She wants to be living her true life. So maybe she should be. This is where it's all got tied up in itself.
Well, this is it exactly, Steve, because what's the difference between what
Steve used to be a black woman. This is Stephen Gage, our correspondent.
What's the difference in blackface here and what gender-critical women would call women face, which they would say that's how they address men, biological men, now saying that they're women. They would say it's the same, like Dylan Mulvaney, who is, as far as I know, still an intact male, but sort of prancing around and sort of being this kind of
like a girl.
Yeah, like I'm a girl and that's very offensive to women.
In fact, this woman actually has a greater claim because evolutionarily. Yes. She will have black ancestors.
Of course, we all do.
Yeah, so...
And, according to her, she will, and I'm not a doctor, but she will have black children.
That's easy.
She maintains...
Well,
I mean, also, they're going to be well-fed, aren't they, those kids?
I think she will also have a black child. I just question...
How, if the child comes out as... Because our husband, I believe, has also had this... skin.
So they're both born white. They've had this injection, which is effectively the plot of the film Soul Man. If you're not seeing it,
80s classic,
absolute classic. And they think they're going to have a black kid, and I think they probably will.
She says,
but not for the reasons they think.
I can clearly feel that I am black, but it's hard to find the right words to describe it. Well, on that, Miss Big, I agree. Yeah, I have no words to describe it.
Let's go on to the Mirror. Actually, the Sun, Steve, and it's good to see what weapon the government will use on the population as civilization collapses.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, this is sorry, did you finish the intro and jumped in there? Hungary... no, I've done that one already. This is the sound weapon that's been deployed. Terrifying vid shows mysterious new sonic weapon deployed against crowd of protesters.
It's Louis Schaefer. They sent him out.
If you've seen the clip, what they do is you can hear Mariah Carey gets played very loudly, and as soon as you hear don't work... That's your sneeze again.
Let's have the video. Let's hear it. And afterwards, people said they were nauseous and had headaches.
So they tried this in Australia during COVID with James Blunt's music, and it worked really well. They played that in parks really loudly.
You would like James Blunt.
I love James Blunt, but I'm not an Australian.
So the thing is, it is a banned weapon for them. So it boils down, for me, just to this simple issue. If it's a weapon that they're not allowed to have, they shouldn't have it.
OK.
I know it's less lethal than, firing bullets at crowds or whatever, but if you're not allowed to use it, you want your state to be accountable. Although it does say the sound weapons are hard to prove because they don't leave evidence, everyone's filmed it. Surely
you sure no one farted?
I mean...
that could be the reaction. That looks
quite a bad one, wouldn't it?
It would be pretty bad there. Well, it'd be interesting to see how this weapon is utilised in the future, because it really does have quite a devastating impact, but there's no evidence afterwards.
Also, the thing, when they triggered the weapon, it was during a silence that they had. That's cruel, isn't it? You wait for a silence and then you use a sound weapon.
Extra disrespectful. Mirror now. And if anyone was offended by the sandwich shop sign, I'm sure the shop owner will be able to outrun them, Archie.
Yeah, sandwich shop defends controversial fatties post as BBC star thrown out. So this is a sandwich shop in East Belfast called Belfast Breakfast Baps, which has come out rather controversial on social media and said, quote, if you're in one of those mobility scooters because you're morbidly obese, please know that you are not disabled, you're fat.
Let's see the image then. We've got the sign there.
This is a Fatmobile, and alongside...
mobility scooter. Hey, we can't read the little...
anyway, Stephen Nolan, who's a well-known BBC 5 Live radio presenter who's got a body for radio, thought this was incredibly unfair of them and ended up getting into an altercation with them. What amuses me is that Belfast Breakfast BAP sounds like the kind of company that exists making other people fat. So it seems to me that they're kind of shooting their own consumers in the foot there.
Yeah, they are. They're alienating.
They're alienating their core market, right?
Yeah,
because they're
surely
selling...
you want to say, come hit 2 for 1.
Come, zoom along, park up your scooter, we'll serve it to drive-through. We'll do a drive-through.
They're trying to make money.
That's what they should do.
Well, see, you don't really want sandwich shops having... These opinions are fine. If you want to have this opinion, it's absolutely fine. But if you're a sandwich shop, I don't even like it when Ice Cream tells me about their point of view on what's happening across the world. Why does every shop now have to get involved in this stuff?
Well, I think what's kind of interesting is this element here where is offence coming back? Like, are we now allowed to sort of deliberately be offensive in that way? It seemed like before it would be...
Is it OK to be calling people fatties nowadays, yeah?
Well, essentially not, but are people going to have to start getting toughened up a little bit? Whereas, look, if you don't like what this person's saying, and they were quite clear that they're delineating between people who are obese and people who have genuine disabilities. And then someone in this article says, talks about how there are many people who are obese for genetic reasons. And it's like, no, I'm sorry, that's just not true. There's no one who's obese for genetic reasons. Now, there are psychological reasons why people are obese, and you can certainly have sympathy for them, certainly if it's coming from abuse from childhood, and there are reasons for that.
Also socioeconomically as well.
So all of that, but to sort of start saying it's genetic and to compare it to people who are born with...
Also, Ozempic exists, and I reckon Ozempic's cheaper than one of those scooters.
Yeah, but
I mean, I'm not an expert, but no, seriously, like in a world of Ozempic, save the planet as well. That's environmentally damaging. Ozempic is not.
Yeah.
Let's get jabbing.
I get really annoyed when people on those scooters travel faster than I do when I go for a run.
Yep.
Yes.
Being overtaken.
That's the problem. That's when you know you've crossed the Rubicon.
I'm not a fast runner. Still, I should be physically beating these.
But they're getting faster.
They are.
Yeah. Well,
I see them speeding nowadays.
Have you seen the news, the new Elon Musk one?
No, here we go. Here we go. Where's this going?
I don't know. I was just... I don't know where I was going. OK, up next. Ball games are back, and we examine bad behaviour on UK railways. This is the headliners only on GB News.
You're looking happy.
Well, the forecast looks good.
So you've sorted the travel insurance then?
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Plenty of sunshine through the middle of the week for Italy and Croatia. Some chilly winds blowing across Greece and Turkey. Strong winds and more rain to come for Spain and Portugal. Some places here could see a month's worth of rain over the next day or so. Some of that showery rain affecting the Pyrenees and the south of France. Much of Italy dry and sunny. Plenty of sunshine over the Greek islands, but that northerly wind will be bringing a chill. But temperatures will be recovering slowly in Santorini over the next few days.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello and welcome to the latest update from the Met Office for GB News. Now, after a sunny day, it's going to be a clear and frosty night for most of us, but more sunshine is expected over the next few days, and it will gradually warm up as the air increasingly comes from the south. It's these southerly winds around an area of high pressure that are bringing the clear skies, the relatively dry air, and as a result, under those clear skies, where the winds ease overnight, a widespread frost is expected, particularly for parts of mid Wales, the Midlands, northwards, widely in these places, -1 to -2 Celsius. In some sheltered spots, down to -5 to -9 degrees across northern England and Scotland. I think the far south and southwest will remain frost-free because here we've got a bit more of a breeze stirring things up and some patchy cloud cover to begin things across parts of Cornwall, perhaps even the odd spit of rain, mostly towards the far southwest, but elsewhere plenty of sunny skies. And under that sunshine, temperatures will soon rise. Wouldn't rule out the odd mist patch across parts of Northern Ireland, Scotland, Northern England first thing. However, they won't last long. By mid-morning, the mist has gone, the frost has gone as well, temperatures soon rising, and in fact, in the sunshine, by the afternoon, it's going to feel very pleasant with warmer weather expected compared to the last few days and lighter winds. Although, towards the south, there will be some patchy cloud coming and going, always the chance of the odd shower in South Wales and southwest England. These are the exceptions. For most, it's sunny, it's warm, 17 or 18 Celsius possible in the south, 13 further north. Thursday begins again with widespread frosty conditions, but plenty of sunshine once again, and it's an even warmer day. Yeah, there'll be some patchy cloud here and there, even the odd shower across southern parts, but for most it's a warm and sunny day with temperatures reaching 19 or 20 Celsius. It's all changed then through Friday and the weekend, increasing cloud and increasing showers.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
If you want your news to be straight talking...
This is a nightmare for the Conservatives again.
Down to earth.
It's not just Nottingham where this is happening, is it?
And most importantly, honest.
Hard-working, middle-class taxpayers, they'll get their book thrown at them.
Then catch me, Martin Daubney, Monday to Friday, 3 till 6 p.m. on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Headliners. Telegraph now, Steve. I tried to read this on the way here, but couldn't concentrate over someone discussing a rash with their doctor.
Yeah, people have lost their self-awareness. The train guards tackling out-of-control passengers. The article is just moaning about how people behave these days on trains. Yeah. I mean, young people these days playing music out their phones is what I don't get around. When we were growing up, in the 80s, headphones were terrible. They were a little bit of rubbish sponginess that you put there and everyone could hear what you're doing. These days, the youth have some of the best niobium magnets. They've got such crystal quality, and what do? Play it out their stupid speaker. So that's annoying. People putting their feet on seat. I travel by train a lot these days, and it winds me.
I've never seen you more passionate.
Oh, because you can't even say, could you take your dirty feet off that seat because someone's going to have to sit there.
Nothing nicer, though, is there, than sitting back on a long like that, on those four-seaters.
Look at you with
I do that. I think that is bliss. I'd do the whole show like this if I could.
Oh, absolutely. Just young
Eamon's going to get angry
Eamon
tomorrow.
Holmes is going to be sitting there tomorrow. He's going to be very, very upset now.
Yeah, and I imagine it is annoying to be a guard because they have to put up signs saying, by the way, please don't physically abuse our staff. You didn't used to need that in the old days because it was against the law.
Well, the ticket inspector here is called Greg, and then they say afterwards, this is a fake name. Yeah. Names have been changed. They changed to Greg, but they did a Greg with 2 Gs.
I noticed that. They had to change the names to anonymise the train guards like they've done some kind of terrible crime. It's like, who's going to go and have a go at them?
Reveal.
That's what it's like. If you ask someone to take their feet off a seat, they then act like you've done a hate crime. They will probably go, he was the guy who asked me to move my feet.
And I nearly got beaten up on a megabus for asking someone to stop playing music over there.
It's the thing old people absolutely... You can't bear it, can you? Like older people, they get mad. Absolutely. If you want to wind people up on a train, it's a great way of doing it.
Sound weapon.
Oh, it's very... Archie, we're in the Times next, and updates to the UK inflation basket includes sandals, but not socks, which I'm taking as fashion.
The Times, UK inflation basket update, VR headsets in and DVD rental out, so it won't be long until you can tune in and watch us in full virtual reality, I hope. This, of course, is the basket of goods that the government used to measure the cost of inflation, how much things are going up in this country. It's a rather sad sign of the times, really. Men's slider sandals are back in, which, of course, are absolutely horrific. Yoga mats are in, which is dreadful. But pre-cooked pulled pork, smoked salmon and mango are also in, which is kind of a little bit more civilised. It's a properly good weekend. But I do wonder what else they might be missing that we're spending our money on.
I can answer that seriously.
Yeah.
Mortgages.
They don't include mortgages, which is quite a lot.
Just enough time to do the final story, which is actually quite a huge impact on the world, I think, Steve.
Yeah, EVs could be charged as fast filling a petrol car after breakthrough. They reckon this is the Chinese manufacturer, the competitor to Tesla, and they're having a great time, apparently, Tesla. You could charge it in 5 minutes. How long until we hit the stage of people going, 5 minutes? Am I made of time? Because we're not grateful. It won't take long.
No, but they can only go 2 miles on that 5
But
minutes.
this is the biggest incentive to not get one is the amount of time it's going to take.
Yeah, and wait until they're going to get ready. Yeah?
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. Right, show is nearly over. Let's take another quick look at Wednesday's front pages. The Express, Ukraine must have a just and lasting peace. The Times, Putin keeps ceasefire hopes on a knife edge. Mirror, worried sick. iPaper, Generation Z gets benefits cut for anxiety and depression. Telegraph, Putin rejects Trump's ceasefire. The Star, Trumpies taking a liberty. So that is it for tonight's show. I hope you enjoy the little bonus bits during the interval of me trying to figure out my time. The thing is, when you're watching it on the screen, I can't see which way is that. Anyway, fine. But thank you very much to my guests, Archie and Steve. I'm going to be back tomorrow at 11 p.m. with Kerry Marks and Paul Cox. If you're watching the 5 a.m. repeat, stay tuned for breakfast. Have a great day. Bye.
There will be a light breeze in the morning, leading to a warm front. Boxed heat pumps, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Hello and welcome to the latest update from the Met Office for GB News. Now, after a sunny day, it's going to be a clear and frosty night for most of us, but more sunshine is expected over the next few days, and it will gradually warm up as the air increasingly comes from the south. It's these southerly winds around an area of high pressure that are bringing the clear skies, the relatively dry air, and as a result, under those clear skies, where the winds ease overnight, a widespread frost is expected, particularly for parts of mid-Wales, the Midlands, northwards, widely in these places, -1 to -2 Celsius. In some sheltered spots, down to -5 to -9 degrees across northern England and Scotland. I think the far south and southwest will remain frost-free because here we've got a bit more of a breeze stirring things up and some patchy cloud cover to begin things across parts of Cornwall, perhaps even the odd spit of rain, mostly towards the far southwest, but elsewhere plenty of sunny skies, and under that sunshine temperatures will soon rise. Wouldn't rule out the odd